You see, after years of studying human behavior, watching people rise, fall, and repeat their mistakes, I've learned something that most never realize. Intelligence isn't about IQ, education, or fancy words. It's about how you live, how you treat others, and how you handle truth when it slaps you in the face. But here's what few dare to admit. Most people aren't wise. They're trapped in patterns of ignorance that quietly destroy their growth. They don't see it because their ego blinds them. Today, I'm going to expose 6 deadly mind traps that reveal when someone is walking the path of foolishness. This isn't about mocking others, it's about brutal self-reflection. Because if you can spot these traps in others, you can prevent them from taking root in your own mind. Every sign I share today is a mirror, not a weapon. So if something stings, don't defend it, examine it. Growth only begins when your comfort ends. Are you ready? Let's begin. The first trap is mental rigidity, the inability to see beyond your own opinion. A closed mind is not strength, it's fear disguised as certainty. You've met people like this. They argue endlessly, reject new ideas, and cling to outdated methods as if letting go would erase their identity. They live behind invisible walls built from pride and insecurity. The Stoics warned us, the obstacle is the way, but for the foolish, the obstacle becomes the excuse. They'd rather defend their comfort than confront their ignorance. You must not become like them. The moment you start believing you've figured it all out, your growth dies. True wisdom requires flexibility. You must be willing to destroy your old beliefs to build better ones. Every great thinker, from Marcus Aurelius to Epictetus, practiced intellectual humility. They questioned themselves daily. So ask yourself now, when was the last time you changed your mind because truth demanded it? If you can't remember, your ego might be your biggest cage. The second trap is the addiction to blame. Weak minds point fingers, strong minds take ownership. Blaming others is the most seductive form of self-sabotage because it makes you feel innocent while keeping you powerless. Every time you say it's their fault, you hand over your control. The Stoics believe that responsibility is sacred. It's the one thing no one can take from you. Epictetus said, "You cannot control external events, only your reactions." The fool reverses this. They try to control everything except themselves. Stop it. Stop blaming your parents, your boss, your circumstances, your luck. The moment you own your mistakes, you reclaim your power. Growth begins the second you say, "It's on me." So, when life hits hard, when your plans fall apart, don't run from accountability, run toward it. Because every excuse you defend is a prison wall you build around your potential. And if you're brave enough to destroy those walls, discipline and clarity will replace chaos and confusion. The third trap is ego masquerading as confidence, the arrogant love to appear wise. But true intelligence never shouts, it listens. A fool wants to impress, the wise want to understand. Arrogance is the loud armor of the insecure. You've seen it, the person who interrupts every conversation, dismisses every suggestion, and mocks those who challenge them. They think domination equals strength, but real power comes from stillness, from the humility to say, "I don't know." Marcus Aurelius ruled an empire, yet wrote daily reminders to remain humble, to never let praise distort truth. Arrogance kills learning, humility multiplies it. When you speak just to prove your worth, you close the door to wisdom. So next time you feel the urge to assert dominance, pause, ask yourself, am I speaking to learn or just to be seen? The wise person would rather look foolish for a moment than stay foolish for a lifetime. Kill your ego before it kills your potential. The fourth trap is emotional blindness, the failure to feel what others feel. Without empathy, your strength becomes cruelty, and your intelligence becomes arrogance. The foolish think caring makes them weak. But in truth, empathy is a form of wisdom. It allows you to see beyond yourself. A person who lacks empathy can't build trust, can't lead, can't love deeply. They hurt others without even realizing it. The Stoics understood that we are all connected through reason and humanity. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "What injures the hive injures the bee." When you stop understanding people, you isolate yourself in a fortress of cold logic and wounded pride. The path of wisdom demands balance, strength of mind, and softness of heart. Don't confuse compassion with submission. Empathy doesn't mean surrender. It means awareness. The next time someone fails or disappoints you, before judging, try to understand. In that moment, you are not only showing mercy, you are growing in wisdom. The fifth trap is the fear of change. Nothing keeps a person stuck faster than comfort disguised as stability. The foolish cling to routine not because it's good, but because it's familiar. They'd rather live in predictable misery than face the uncertainty of growth. But Stoic wisdom is clear. Life is constant change. You can resist it or ride it, but you cannot stop it. Heraclitus said, "No man ever steps in the same river twice, because both the man and the river are always changing." Yet fools try to freeze the flow of life, hoping safety will replace courage. It never does. The wise understand that discomfort is the birthplace of evolution. Every breakthrough begins with fear, and every transformation starts with risk. If you're afraid of losing control, remember, the only true loss is staying the same. Step into the unknown. Let change burn away what no longer serves you. Fear will fade, but growth will remain. The sixth trap is talking more than listening. Foolish people love the sound of their own voice. They mistake volume for value. They dominate conversations, interrupt others, and confuse noise with intelligence. But wisdom speaks softly, and only after listening deeply. The Stoics practice silence not as weakness, but as training for clarity. Seneca wrote, "We have 2 ears and 1 mouth, so that we may listen twice as much as we speak." The fool seeks validation. The wise seek understanding. Every time you interrupt, you close the door to insight. Listening is not passive. It's an act of respect, discipline, and humility. When you listen, you see truth from angles your ego could never reveal. So, next time you're in a discussion, resist the urge to respond first. Observe, absorb, reflect. Your silence will reveal more than 1,000 words ever could. The loudest person in the room may sound powerful, but the quiet observer is the one who truly understands. The 7th trap is emotional impulsiveness. The inability to control your reactions is a form of slavery. Slavery to anger, pride, and fear. The foolish explode when challenged, lash out when corrected, and let their emotions drive their actions like wild horses dragging a broken carriage. Stoicism calls this the loss of sovereignty over the self. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself daily, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." When you react without restraint, you hand your power to others. They pull your strings, and you dance. The wise, however, pause before responding. They breathe. They think. They refuse to let emotions make decisions meant for reason. The world respects the person who stays calm under pressure, because calmness is control. So when you're provoked, don't respond instantly. Let silence be your weapon. Let patience be your proof of mastery. A fool screams to be heard. The wise whisper and are obeyed. The 8th trap is self-deception. The foolish lie not just to others, but to themselves. They rewrite failure as misfortune, arrogance as confidence, and laziness as peace. They build entire identities out of excuses, convincing themselves that mediocrity is acceptance. But truth doesn't vanish just because you ignore it. It waits. Stoicism teaches that the first step toward freedom is seeing reality as it is, not as you wish it to be. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "If someone can prove me wrong, I'll gladly change." That's wisdom. But the fool defends illusion because honesty hurts. You cannot heal a wound you refuse to see. You must be brutally honest with yourself about where you are weak, undisciplined, or blind. Truth will sting, but it will also save you. Stop hiding behind comfort. Look in the mirror without flinching. Admit where you've fallen short, then act. Growth demands honesty. Without it, your entire life becomes a performance you can't escape. The 9th trap is chronic distraction. The modern fool is not ignorant, he's overstimulated. His attention is shattered, his mind pulled in 1,000 directions, and yet he wonders why peace feels impossible. Every scroll, every notification, every meaningless argument online drains the energy that should be fueling your purpose. The Stoics valued focus as sacred. They trained their minds to stay centered amid chaos. Seneca said, "To be everywhere is to be nowhere." When you scatter your attention, you become weak. Your thoughts lose depth. Your emotions lose clarity. Your actions lose direction. The fool chases everything and masters nothing. The wise choose one thing and give it everything. If you want discipline, start with your attention. Guard it like treasure. When the world tries to seduce you with noise, walk away. A quiet mind is a powerful mind. Don't let your life be consumed by distractions disguised as entertainment. Master your focus or be ruled by your impulses. The 10th trap is living for approval. The fool bends with every opinion, terrified of judgment, desperate for validation. They trade authenticity for applause and mistake being liked for being right. But the Stoic lives by principle, not popularity. Epictetus taught that freedom begins when you stop worrying about what others think. The crowd will always talk. They praise Caesar and killed him in the same breath. If your self-worth depends on their approval, you'll never know peace. The wise stand firm even when misunderstood, because they value integrity over image. You must learn to walk alone, to make decisions that serve your character, not your comfort. When people criticize, thank them silently. They're revealing their own limits, not yours. Remember this truth. The approval of others is temporary, but self-respect is eternal. Stop performing for the world. Start living by your values. The more you need their praise, the easier it becomes for them to control you. The 11th trap is emotional dependence. The foolish expect others to give them peace, love, or happiness, things that can only be built within. They move through life begging for validation, approval, and comfort, like emotional beggars holding out empty bowls. But the Stoics taught self-sufficiency as the highest form of freedom. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Nowhere you can go is more peaceful than your own soul." When you depend on people for happiness, they control your state of mind. When they leave, you collapse. But when you build strength from within, no storm can break you. You must learn to generate your own calm, your own sense of worth, your own fire. The wise do not seek constant reassurance. They create it through action and integrity. You don't need people to complete you. You need discipline to strengthen you. The moment you stop expecting others to make you feel whole, you become untouchable. Depend on your inner fortress, not the world's fragile praise. The 12th trap is resisting feedback. The fool treats correction as insult and advice as attack. They'd rather protect their fragile ego than improve their reality. But the Stoic knows feedback is a mirror that reveals what pride hides. Seneca said, "No one heals himself by hating his disease." The wise actively seek criticism because they understand that discomfort is the doorway to growth. Every time you reject correction, you choose ignorance over evolution. Don't be that person who surrounds themselves with flatterers, people who only tell you what you want to hear. That's not loyalty. That's sabotage. True strength is standing still while truth strikes your pride and saying, "Teach me." The next time someone points out your flaw, don't defend, listen. You can't fix what you refuse to face. The fool protects their ego and stays small. The wise destroy their ego and grow powerful. Choose which one you'll be every time someone speaks truth to you. The 13th trap is living reactively instead of intentionally. Most people drift through life reacting to problems instead of creating direction. They wake up, scroll, rush, complain, repeat, never realizing that their lack of control isn't fate. It's habit. The Stoics called this sleepwalking through existence. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste much of it. The foolish let the world dictate their emotions and priorities. The wise design their days around purpose. Every hour is a choice, reaction or creation. If you don't take charge of your morning, the day will control you. If you don't command your thoughts, they'll drag you into chaos." Living intentionally means deciding what matters and eliminating what doesn't. It's building habits that strengthen your mind, not weaken it. You don't rise by accident, you rise by decision. Repeat it daily. Don't just exist. Lead yourself. Every moment you drift, you lose a piece of your potential. The 14th trap is self-pity. The foolish waste their energy wishing life were easier instead of becoming stronger. They romanticize their pain, replaying it like a sad song, hoping someone will feel sorry for them. But pity changes nothing. The Stoics believed that suffering becomes meaningful only when it's used as fuel. Marcus Aurelius faced death, betrayal, and endless war. Yet he wrote, "Do not complain, but act." Self-pity is a thief. It steals your discipline, your hope, and your future. Every minute you spend feeling sorry for yourself is a minute stolen from progress. You don't need sympathy, you need strategy. When life hurts, don't say, "Why me?" Say, "Try me." Let adversity sharpen you, not soften you. The wise know that pain is the greatest teacher, if you're willing to listen. Remember, strength is not built in comfort. It's built in the storm. Stop feeding your wounds. Start forging your will. That's how you turn pain into power. The 15th trap is avoiding solitude. The fool fears being alone because silence forces them to face who they really are. They drown themselves in noise, people, and distractions just to avoid confronting their own emptiness. But solitude is not loneliness, it's the training ground of wisdom. The Stoics often retreated from the crowd to sharpen their minds. Seneca wrote, "Withdraw into yourself. As far as you can, only in solitude can you hear your real thoughts without the world's interference. You learn what you value, what you fear, and what must change. The foolish fill every quiet moment with stimulation. The wise use it to build clarity and self-command. If you can't sit alone with your thoughts, you're not in control, you're escaping. Learn to enjoy your own company. Reflect, journal, breathe, meditate, because the person who masters solitude masters their mind, and the one who controls their mind controls their destiny. Silence is the forge where strength is made." The 16th trap is neglecting discipline. Weak minds crave comfort. Strong minds crave progress. The foolish wait for motivation, but the wise act from principle. Discipline is the bridge between intention and transformation. Without it, dreams stay dreams. The Stoics didn't rely on emotion, they relied on structure. They woke early, trained their bodies, ordered their thoughts, and faced discomfort deliberately. Marcus Aurelius rose before dawn to remind himself, "You were born to act, not to lie in bed." Every time you delay action, you feed weakness. Every time you choose excuses over effort, you teach your mind to surrender. Discipline isn't punishment, it's freedom. It's the proof that you command yourself. The foolish spend their days reacting to impulses. The wise design their behavior like warriors preparing for battle. If you want strength, stop negotiating with laziness. Do the thing even when you don't feel like it. That's where transformation begins, when comfort ends and commitment starts. The 17th trap is ignoring purpose. The fool drifts through life, chasing pleasure, status, or comfort, never meaning. They wake up tired, not because they've done too much, but because they've done nothing that matters. The Stoics believed that purpose is the root of resilience. Epictetus said, "First say to yourself what you would be, then do what you have to do." Without a clear why, every challenge feels unbearable. The wise anchor their actions to something higher than mood or moment. They serve, build, and endure with direction. If you don't define your mission, the world will assign you one, usually one that serves someone else. Stop existing on autopilot. Ask yourself, what do I stand for? What would I fight for even if no one watched? The answer to that question is your compass. Purpose gives pain, meaning and success, humility. Without it, you're just moving, but never arriving. Find your reason, and every struggle becomes sacred. The 18th trap is living without reflection. The fool moves endlessly forward, but never looks inward. They repeat the same mistakes, year after year, calling it bad luck instead of bad awareness. Reflection is what turns experience into wisdom. Without it, time is wasted. The Stoics practice daily reflection, not as philosophy, but as survival. Every night, Marcus Aurelius reviewed his actions, where he faltered, where he improved, what he would do better tomorrow. The foolish avoid this because self-examination hurts. It exposes the truth, but only when you face your reflection honestly can you correct your path. Journal your day. Question your motives. Ask, was I guided by reason or impulse? Every evening is an audit of the soul. The wise treat reflection as sharpening a blade. It keeps the mind keen, the heart steady, and the purpose clear. If you don't review your thoughts, they'll rule you from the shadows. Awareness is discipline in its purest form. Now we arrive at the truth that binds it all together, the 19th and final trap. Believing wisdom is permanent. The fool thinks that once he learns a few lessons, he's evolved. But the wise know that wisdom must be earned daily. The Stoics treated life as constant training, each morning a test, each hardship a classroom. You don't become wise once, you practice wisdom forever. The moment you stop questioning yourself, you start decaying. Every trap we've discussed, ego, blame, fear, distraction, arrogance, they wait at every stage of your growth, disguised in new forms. The path never ends, but neither does your potential. So, reflect deeply, rebuild daily, rise deliberately, because stupidity isn't permanent, and neither is wisdom. It's a choice renewed with every thought and every action. If you want mastery, live awake. If you want peace, live disciplined. And if you want freedom, live by truth. This is the Stoic way, uncomfortable, demanding, but utterly transformative. Every one of us has walked through moments of ignorance, pride, fears, and distraction. But wisdom is not perfection. It's the relentless decision to rise, again and again, stronger and more aware than before. The Stoics never claimed to be flawless. They simply refused to remain blind. So, as this video ends, take a moment to look within. Which of these traps do you still fight against? Which one will you break today? Remember, change doesn't begin tomorrow. It begins now, in the smallest decision to see yourself clearly and act with discipline. If something in this message spoke to you, share your thoughts below. I read every comment, and your reflections might inspire someone else on their path towards strength and clarity. If this lesson helped you grow, gently tap the like button, subscribe for more Stoic teachings, and share this video with someone who needs to hear it today. Thank you for listening. Stay strong, stay mindful, and keep walking the path of reason. YouTube channel, Stoic Psychology.